The doors to the Viridian Tea House are open once more. Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. May 2024 be full of prosperity and joy and just good times. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. So, I've got 3 books to talk about today, a fantastic tea, and a music CD that I just want to give a shout out to the singer-songwriter. So, if you're ready, let's begin. So, the first 2 books, I have to say many thanks to the Inglewood Public Library for having them. I think it was Inglewood. Oh, Inglewood in Denver. Sorry, my bad. But this was an author I never heard of before, and I just happened to see one of her titles in the new releases, and I thought, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I was blown away by her writing. It is very pushing the envelope over the edge and watching it fall into the abyss, but all you want is just more. And that is Ricky Ducournay, the author of The Plotinus and also the author of Netsuke. So, The Plotinus, let me just read the back of it for you. Upon setting out for a morning walk with his knobby stick in hand, a young man is arrested by a robot called the Plotinus and abandoned in a cell where one beam of sunlight beckons through an air duct. Rapping his knuckles against the vent to relay his tale of woe in code, he recalls his lost love and their group's forbidden activities, his riddled knowledge of philosophy and the sciences, and sweet memories of freedom's small pleasures. As the captive confronts his increasingly dire circumstances with rigorous optimism, the appearance of fantastical visitors and miraculous objects in his cell further blurs the line between hallucination and dystopian reality. Told with uncanny warmth and intellectual brio, The Plotinus is Ricky Ducournay's most unforgettable story yet. And a little bit about the author. Let's see. She is a transdisciplinary artist. Her work is animated by an interest in nature, eros, tyranny, and the transcendent capacities of the creative imagination. She is a poet, fiction writer, essayist, and artist, and her fiction has been translated into 15 languages. Her art has been exhibited internationally, most recently with Amnesty International's traveling exhibit, I Welcome, focused on the refugee crisis. She has received numerous fellowships and awards, including an Arts and Letters Award from the American Academy of Arts and Letters, the Charles Flint Kellogg Award in Arts and Letters from Bard College, the Prix Guerlain, and the Lenon Literary Award for Fiction. Her novel, The Jade Cabinet, was a finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award. She lives in Port Townsend, Washington. So The Plotinus kind of it reminds me of Franz Kafka, very much so. Not so much, well, just his overall writing style, where you're reading this story and you just have to think, what is really going on? And then you have to follow it with, don't force it. Just go with the narrator. Just go with him. At times, I thought the narrator was kind of unreliable because I thought, is he really going through this? Was he really captured? I don't know. But what's interesting is that he becomes friends and soon lovers with someone that's quite unexpected. And yet the optimism just flows through him all throughout this story. And yet you're just thinking to yourself, what's going to happen to this narrator? Is he ever going to get out of this prison? Is it all just within his mind? Apparently the Plotinus only makes brief appearances. Is that representative of something? But overall, I think this is just open to interpretation. It's really, you read it, whatever description works for you, works for you. But for me, I thought, yes, he really was imprisoned. Yes, he did meet these characters. Yes, he did fall in love with something that really was kind of odd. And yes, through it all, he was so optimistic. So maybe in the end, now that I think about it, maybe he will be released. Or maybe he really isn't a prisoner to begin with. Maybe he can just walk out of his cell, but he doesn't realize that yet. But still, this was quite an intriguing, surreal existential story that once I started, I really couldn't put it down. And there was a lot of cyanotype photos throughout the book, which really didn't have anything to do with the story, but it kind of added its own special layer to the story. So for The Platonist by Ricky Ducournay, it does receive four pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. And now to go also with Ricky Ducournay, with Netsuke. Let me read the back of it for you. Ruled by his hunger for erotic encounters, a deeply wounded psychoanalyst seduces both patients and strangers with equal heat. Driven to compartmentalize his life, the doctor attempts to order and contain his lovers as he does his collection of rare Netsuke, the precious miniature sculptures gifted to him by his wife. This riveting exploration of one psychoanalyst's abuse of power unearths the startling introspection present within even the darkest heart. This book made me really angry, and the ending made me angrier. It really did, but I didn't see it coming. And when it happened, like I literally went back and I read the entire page again and went, that really did happen. Wow, what a powerful way to end this story. I have to be honest, I felt disgust for the psychoanalyst. I just thought, I know it's a work of fiction, but it's, sleeping with with most of your patients and just becoming obsessed with them. And then taking another step back, how he was such a sex addict. Like there's one scene where I just was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of the movie Shame with Michael Fassbender, where at first you're like, oh my God, Michael Fassbender, he's naked and, this is so sexy. And then after a while, you just get this look on your face like, you really need help. This is not good. This is not safe. And the same thing about the psychoanalyst. I just kept thinking, when are you going to wake up? When are you going to realize that what you're doing is really, really hurting yourself and hurting your wife and hurting others? But the ending, which I won't give away, was I didn't see it coming. I really didn't. And this book just made me angry. But having said that, I enjoyed reading it. I enjoyed getting into the mind of a psychoanalyst. I don't think he was an unreliable narrator. I think everything that he was discussing, it was really going on. And his relationship with his wife, though, was very interesting because while they loved each other, it wasn't love at the same time. It was a strange friendship, but still, overall, this was a highly erotically charged, almost psychological thriller with a fantastic ending that you're just gonna have to read it twice. But so for Netsuke by Ricky Ducournay, it does receive as well 4 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. And really the reason for the 4 with Netsuke is just I loved how she went into the description of the Netsuke and all of that and how he treasured them. But then when he compared it to his patients, I was like, oh, that's just... So the reason why I gave it a 4 was I just didn't like the psychoanalyst. It just, my own opinion. And you may read it and you may think, wow, I really like the psychoanalyst. I don't know. But yeah, so many thanks to Ricky Ducournay for The Platonist and Netsuke. I really did enjoy reading both these books, and I look forward to reading more of your work. Thank you so much. So now to do a complete shift, one of my all-time favorite children's books, I decided to read it again for the 4th time. And every time I read it, I learn something new from it, and I love the story, I love the characters, I love the illustrations. It is The Phantom Toll Booth by Norton Juster. This is one of my all-time favorite children's books. And I remember reading this when I was younger, and I loved Milo and his adventures that really did happen. And when I was able to find a copy of it years later, I said, I am never letting go of this book. So let me read the back of it for you. Who could possibly have left such an enormous package and such a strange one? Attached to one side was a bright blue envelope which said simply, "For Milo, who has plenty of time." A journey to the lands beyond. For Milo, everything's a bore. When a toll booth mysteriously appears in his room, he drives through only because he's got nothing better to do. But on the other side, things seem different. Milo visits the island of conclusions. You get there by jumping, which I love that. Learns about time from a ticking watchdog named Talk, and even embarks on a quest to rescue Rhyme and Reason, beautiful princesses. Somewhere along the way, Milo realizes something astonishing. Life is far from dull. In fact, it's exciting beyond his wildest dreams. And about Norton Juster, let's see, an architect and planner and the author of a number of highly acclaimed children's books, including The Dot and the Line, which was made into an Academy Award-winning film. He collaborated with Sheldon Harnick, who wrote the lyrics for Fiddler on the Roof, and many other great Broadway shows on the libretto for an opera based on the Phantom Toll Booth. This musical adaptation with the score by Arnold Black premiered in 1995 and has been performed in schools and theaters nationwide. An amateur cook and professional eater, Norton Juster lives with his wife in Amherst, Massachusetts. And if I remember correctly, he has passed, I think so. But this is just one of just a classic children's story, and with a lesson that's for all ages. And in fact, let's see. Yeah, like the last line, I have to read it. Where Milo, after going through all the adventures, he says, let's see. And in the very room where he sat, there were books that could take you anywhere, and things to invent and make and build and break, and all the puzzle and excitement of everything he didn't know. Music to play, songs to sing, and worlds to imagine, and then someday make real. His thoughts darted eagerly about as everything looked new and worth trying. Well, I would like to make another trip, he said, jumping to his feet, but I really don't know when I'll have the time. There's just so much to do right here. I just can't stop talking about it. If you are rediscovering children's books and you're just trying to find, just good books to read for yourself to just take you away for like a couple of hours, The Phantom Toll Booth by Norton Juster. And if you have children and you're trying to find great books that will capture their imagination, really, The Phantom Toll Booth is fantastic. And it does receive 5 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House, and that's probably 5 times that I've read this book, and I will continue to read it. In fact, I would love to make it part of my reading tradition where I read it, on a specific day every year or something like that. But yes, and then with this particular copy, this also has an appreciation by Mari Sendak, who's another one of my favorite children authors and illustrators. But yes, The Phantom Toll Booth is fantastic. Grab a copy immediately and join Milo and talk. You won't regret it. So before I get to the tea, I do want to give a shout out to this particular singer-songwriter. Her name is Marian Call. And the funny thing is that I never heard of her before years ago, until somebody that I knew who operates a bookstore was going to have her come in to sign some CDs. And I learned that she wrote a lot of songs that were geek influenced. And I thought, wow, I really would like to check her music out. So I ended up getting Something Fierce, and it's a 2-disc. So you've got side 1, which is all like kind of geeky songs. And then you have side 2, which is more of songs about more alternative folky that deal with living in Alaska and just being alive in these days and times. So like that's side 1, and then that's side 2 where she signed it too. But I'm bringing her up because I'm working on a new novel. A tentative title is called Maureen, and it is inspired by my college years and prep school years and art and culture and just all of it. And so far, I'm really enjoying writing it. So, anytime I write a new manuscript, I always kind of create a playlist to kind of get me in the mood or the emotions of the characters or whatnot. So the playlist for Maureen is it's got some goth music from the 90s, because yes, I was a goth. I still am. What am I saying? And folk music, well, alternative folk music, jazz, and just anything that would just make me think of the characters. So I happened to listen to some of Marion Call's later works and earlier works, and I thought it's her music that is really targeting my manuscript. So, Marion, if you're watching this, you are heavily inspiring my novel, Maureen. And I would love to add you to my dedications for this book, if you don't mind. But your music is so inspiring and it's quirky, it's smart, it's intelligent, it's funny, it's all of these things, and I just have nothing but mad respect for you. So many thanks to your music. I will be buying all of your CDs very soon. But yes, I am so proud to have Something Fierce and signed by you. So many thanks, Marion. Many, many thanks. And if you're looking for music where it really touches you and you can sing along with it, and it evokes really good vibes, try out Marion Call. I mean, you can't go wrong. I know she's on Bandcamp, so if you have a Bandcamp account, you can follow her. She also has a website. I have been listening to her music on YouTube Music, but like I said, I believe in supporting artists no matter what. So I'm happy to have this CD, but I will be purchasing all of her CDs in the very, very near future. So Marion Call, Something Fierce, and she is something fierce. She really is. So thank you. Right. So with the tea portion, I actually purchased this tea from my boyfriend for his birthday. And when I saw it, I thought, ooh, that's just decadent. But this particular tea company, every single time I've had their tea, I don't want to just slurp all of it down. Like, I just want to savor each bag. And that is Twinings. I mean, not Twinings. Oh, excuse me. Wow, that was a faux pas. That is Harney and Sons, not Twinings. Harney and Sons, and this is their Black Cask Bourbon Tea. And it is a smoky black tea with vanilla and caramel. And let's see here. So the character of the tea, prominent notes of vanilla, caramel atop a base of smoky black tea. Perfect for sipping slow and steady as a bourbon should be. And the ingredients, black tea, lapsang shousong, bourbon flavor, contains natural flavors. And let's see if there's anything else. No, not really. But yes, it's not Twining, Harney and Sons. But I've always enjoyed Harney and Sons tea, and also Twinings. But every time I've enjoyed a Harney and Son tea, I feel like I need to get like the best china cups and get dressed up and just do nothing but maybe like watch a foreign film or watch a play or something like that. But this tea, when my boyfriend and I had it, was absolutely exquisite. It really was. So I've got my cup of the Black Cask Bourbon, and from me to you, enjoy. It's absolutely incredible how some teas or tea blends, they roll off the tongue. So smooth, so creamy, just perfect cup. Every sip of this tea is just perfect. It really, truly is. I'm a big fan of lapsang shousong. I know not a lot of people are into it because they think that it's, the house is burning down or something like that. But the taste of a lapsang shousong is really, really good for me, like during the autumn and winter months when we're not getting as much light and it's cooler outside, and I just feel like I want to wrap my hands around my mug and just take little sips. So delicious, really delicious. And I'm getting all of the notes. Like the Lapsang Shu song is not like, oh God, it's so overpowering. It works really well with all of the ingredients so that all the ingredients gets their fair turn and share with your senses and with every sip. So Harney and Sons is just a master tea company, and I thank you so much for making this. And my boyfriend loves it as well. And if you can ever find some of this, please purchase it. You will not regret it. So that brings me to our tea and or water breathing meditation. If you're new to this, welcome. This is just basically to take a few seconds out of our day to focus on our breathing and to also have a cup of water or a tea nearby and just pause and reflect. That's all. So find yourself in a comfortable position, either seated, lying down, standing up. Make sure that you're not going to be disturbed. We're not going to focus on any mantras or chanting. We're just going to focus on our breathing, just one moment by one moment by one moment. And then afterward, we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then we'll have a sip of our water or our tea. So if you're ready, let's begin. And now let's end this breathing meditation with a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly open your eyes or allow your eyes to come back into focus. And now let's have a sip of your water or your tea. So smooth and exquisite. It really is. Many thanks to y'all for watching these videos, and I will keep making them and posting them with all the mistakes and unedits and all kinds of stuff. Also, big thanks to Harney and Sons for their Black Cask Bourbon Tea, and to Marion Call for being something fierce. Also to Norton Juster and the Phantom Toll Booth. And also, finally, to Ricky Ducournay for the Platanus and Netsuke. And special thanks, as always, to Inglewood Public Library and Denver Public Library for having these books. So that's all I have for today. Like I said, this is a brand new year. Let's give it everything that we've got. So take care of yourself and each other. Raise your teacup high, and remember that to drink tea is to enjoy life. I will see you guys really soon. Bye for now.